Hello and welcome to another LSB film podcast with me, your host Chris with a K Brooks. Today's conversation will challenge what a lot of people think they know about law, authority, personal responsibility, and the systems that people are taught to trust without question. Joining me are Brandy and Ryan from AERA ARK, a platform and movement focused on self-governance, discernment, personal authority, and a very different way of looking at legal structures, language, consent and remedy. Their work overlaps with many of the deeper themes I explore here on this channel, especially the gap between what people are told the system is and how it actually operates in real life. In this episode we get into some heavy but important territory, how language can be used to shape perception, how legal wording can carry meanings most people don't even understand or notice, why silence is sometimes the clearest response that you can get, and why true remedy may begin long before the paperwork is filed. We also talk about self-responsibility, the dangers of outsourcing your authority, and the inner shift that often has to happen before anything changes in the outer world. This is one of those conversations that goes well past the mainstream explanations. So if you've ever had a sense that something isn't right about the legal system, identity, or personal power that doesn't quite add up, this episode will give you quite a lot to think about. So let's get into it.
Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory? Well, don't you worry. Sit back and relax and join in the conversation with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
So, hello, welcome to the show, and I'm so glad that you accepted my invitation. So, first of all, what you seem to be doing is marvelous work, and it kind of mirrors what I talk about on like the real law and how the real world operates. So, without me rambling on too much, can you just give us a bit of a backstory as to what made you take this path?
That's a loaded question you got there.
A lot of
I'm happy to
experiences,
shut up and just listen now.
a lot of experiences, a lot of failures, and a lot of leaps of faith.
So, back before I even met Ryan, I was having my own trials and tribulations that I was going through in my life and working out my own, getting my own hand out from holding myself down, suffocating myself from my own choices and ignorance and things like that, just working out all those things inside of myself and becoming aware of the things that I was actually agreeing to with my authority, my free will, how I was doing that. And during that time was the video that you were talking about that you saw that piqued your interest to even reach out to us. Um, I had, it was a letter from a lawyer, and I didn't know what I knew now. I didn't really know anything about law as far as the legal system went. I knew that my family knew a bunch about the legal system. They always used the legal system in their favor. I was not doing that. Didn't align with any of that personally. But in this moment, the legal system was involved, but it was a lawyer's office that was involved. It wasn't the CPS or anything like that. It was just a lawyer. And they told me they were going to write a document, and that when I got the document, all I needed to do was sign it. And they tried to be like real friendly with me about it. Like, this is just this innocent little paper that I'm going to hand you. And,
Trying to get you to commit joinder.
yeah. And when I hand it to you, it'll fix everything. That was the kind of thing that was being portrayed to me. And so 7 months go by of hearing about this document that's coming to me. I'm thinking, well, it took them 7 months to write it. It must be a package at this point. By the time I got it, it was like 4 sentences. It was literally this big on the paper. And I was
So
like,
a paragraph.
yeah, I'm like, it took you 7 months to put that together. I'm sitting there scratching my head and I'm reading it and I'm like, something doesn't feel right here. I don't really know what this says entirely, but I know that it doesn't say entirely what it says. So I went online and I looked up a legalese translator on Google, and I found one that literally translated everything from and, he, she, it, may, can, like
If,
all the little things.
of.
Yeah, the little things you think would not matter in what they're saying that matter a lot. and I decoded the entire message. It took me a couple days to do it, but I was able to write it out in what they were actually saying. And I went, "Oh, really? So you're trying to take my ability to ever say that I could have my children ever? No, I'm not doing that." And so I took that same dictionary and I said, "Okay, I'm going to write you a paragraph back." And I started writing that paragraph using their own words and making it fit what I was comfortable giving my authority to.
Mm.
Because that's one thing I learned in that moment was it was my choice what I was signing. I didn't have to sign it just because a legal system or a lawyer or somebody said I needed to sign it, that I really needed to use my own voice that everyone had tried to shut down. That's another part. It was like my entire life, everyone tried to shut my voice down because I made everybody uncomfortable by questioning everything. So in that moment when I wrote it back, I sent it back and I said, "Okay, so I read what you wrote and I saw through it. Nice try. But here's what I will agree to. These are the only terms I will sign and agree to. I've already signed it. I sent it over to your office. You are more than welcome to sign it. We'll proceed from there." They went silent. They never
Mm.
spoke to me again. That was the end of communication because in that moment I ripped the rug out from underneath them that they thought they had.
Yeah, this is what I've often said to people. Like a lot of people expect this revelations where they'll go, "Oh, we're so sorry, we don't." Well, no, the best you can ever hope for is silence, and
Silence.
and
One,
they will never admit to anything.
no,
The best you can hope
no.
for is they just leave you alone.
That's it because they're not going to put on record something that incriminates their behavior.
That is the
When you
secret.
realize, like the videos that you were watching of our stuff, if you watch the one where I went over lawyer and attorney in fact, like breaking down the language, and you really take it to the core of it. And well, I saw your video right before we communicated with you, and I was like, this man had to have spent so much time going through this content because it sounded like my own mouth was coming out of your mouth. And I was like, and this is beautiful. Like the amount of time you put into this, most people would not do, but you took it made us go, this is a video that we could just
Yeah,
send to people when they're trying to figure out what we do.
I was probably gonna say. I was like, he summed it up in a very clean, like
Yeah.
simplified way.
So
Like this is.
very,
Well,
very good
thank
work.
you.
What do you
I
guys do?
appreciate the feedback. I
Yeah, it
appreciate the
was a good
feedback.
video.
I
But
do, to be fair, I do have, I mean, I am a one-man band as far as the channel goes, but I do have a handful of people that I can go to with that kind of knowledge, and then I'm just able to transform it into a script that's
yeah,
easy to follow. So
yeah,
yeah,
that it
so
was
I can't
very
take all the
definitely
credit, but it's very valuable information.
it was very easy to follow. So we shared it on our page actually after
Well,
as soon
thank
as we
you.
watched it. I think he watched it 3 times already.
Yeah, I did.
But
Easy.
That's great.
It's good,
Yeah,
man.
but yes,
perfect.
to go to what you were saying, silence is the best thing that you can get.
Yep.
If they're responding to you at all, it means that they still think they have some kind of jurisdiction or authority over you.
You know,
And
it's
they're
That's
not they're not going to put on record that, hey, I'm an attorney, but attorney in the legal definitions means that I am a paper roll, nothing more. So that's
mm,
why when you go to sue or go, you're not performing your fiduciary duty. The fiduciary duty is a paper roll. You can't sue it, you can't lock it up, you can't fine it. You can't do any of that. So when you realize attorney in fact or person or natural person or human being or every little detail of everything they've ever written, every document, even all the way back to the Constitution, Declaration, Bill of Rights, all of
even
this stuff.
human being means
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah,
yeah.
none of it is communicating to any of us whatsoever. When people try to argue with me about the Constitution, we're the people. I'm like, really? If it was talking to me, then it wouldn't have been followed by of the United States. I didn't
Mm.
come from the United States. It's an imaginary line. It's a business plan. I wasn't born into that. No
It's like the
matter if they
UK
made a record.
corporation, isn't it? It's America's
Yeah,
the country, the United States of America is the corporation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they may have made a record of me. I didn't give consent for that record. I didn't create that record.
Therefore,
I'm not liable for
it's
that record.
null and
Mm.
void
So
instantly. Yeah.
anytime I go with any document or anything, I'm like, okay, prove like if you want to give a debt to somebody, go talk to the local registrar that made this.
Mm.
That's their generation. They created it. They manage it. That's their responsibility. Has nothing to do with me.
Yep.
You didn't make me a representative of it. In fact, every representative you said in your own legal codes is another paper entity and paper role. There's not a single living being that was given the legal authority to represent that record at all.
It's crazy when you just step back and you just assess the situation, and it's
Yeah.
just so difficult to comprehend that we've been duped so badly for so long that we're this fictitious piece of paper.
Well, the biggest thing is that I think it can't be that simple because of how, if you really break it down, it's just a group of people came together and said, we're going to start this and we're going to make people believe that they have to partake in this.
Yeah.
Like, and not realizing that it was that simple of how big of a lie it just compounded over time. Just one little lie that you have to keep a lie ends up formulating more lies to maintain the lie. So it's just like how many years, 200 years to build up what we currently live in and call reality. It's like a lot of events have to pass by, and a lot of manipulation, and a lot of things that people would deem credible sources have to be the ones that provide the credible source. And it's all made up just to control you, control your ability to make choices because they know they can't control free will. That's the ultimate thing is
That's
free
why they
will.
had to build it.
So they have to make you think that you're the one in this role by conditioning parents to then condition their kids and their kids. And then
See, the word
why are things
parents,
like this?
can't use parents. The
Yeah, they can't
parents,
use
the
parents.
parents off the state,
Yeah.
children,
They do all
kids.
of it.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's literally just there, just one big, it's a culture. Legal system, it's a culture. It's one handed down thing after another. It's just part of our culture. What's the culture? Well, we partake in the legal system. That's what we believe in. So we do it. And we just keep doing it and doing it. Why? Well, because don't ask. Don't ask why.
Because it's a
If it makes
calling.
me uncomfortable, don't ask me
Yeah,
that.
don't ask me that. And
It's a
we
calling, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you
If
ask
you know
why,
something, if you know something's not right and it's not just, then the majority, well, I say them, that's probably not true, but a good few people would try and stick to their guns and do the right thing
yeah.
Yeah.
at any cost.
Yes.
It comes down to asking why over the simplest questions. It's like, well, why do you believe that? Well, because of this, and then why, and to that, and then why, and why, and it becomes annoying. But then if you really break it down far enough, you realize that you were just taking face value what somebody told you, and you never really did the research yourself to figure out why this really is what it
Or why
means.
you were making that choice to
Yeah.
begin with.
And then when people
right.
defend the system, it's
Mhm.
not that they're defending the system, they're defending the
The
character that they've
programming.
been programmed to be. So that
They're
means that if
defending the
this system is a
matrix.
lie, yeah, if the
Well,
system is a lie, they have to change who they are.
it's an identity. They're defending the identity they've generated over their lifetime of being mindless and careless with their authority, outsourcing it everywhere in every direction. And then they're like, well, we need a paper remedy for this. And it's like, you didn't get into this position because of paper. You got into this position because of all the times you said yes in places you should have said no. And you simply have to start saying no and finding different ways of living and being, or finding what ways that you are okay with the yeses that you say,
This is
and
it, yeah.
what capacity you want to say yes. That's how we reel it back in and bring it back to ourselves and rip it out from underneath them and stop animating what they're doing. Now there's gonna be, and we're not extremists about this. Like there was a time where I was like, let's start a revolution, like had a fire going through me, but that fire, even though it's there, you kind of find a balance for it, and you start to realize I don't have to suffer to get what I'm trying to get done and walk with my creator the way that I need to. I need to learn to
Just use
listen.
it as motivation.
Yes, use my discernment. Know when to stay or when to stop and be still, when to go, like how that needs to be. And so there's a lot of people in these movements that are trying to be free, but they're going about it with, I need to go get a piece of paper to do this. I need someone else to do it for me.
That's the
And
biggest thing.
that's what
That's the
I was
biggest thing.
literally I was literally
Everybody
about to
wants
say.
it done for them.
Outsourcing the effect.
I was literally about to call that the biggest one because that's what I just recently made a post about, trying to illustrate what it does when we generate all this weight on ourselves, right? Our own choices generate these problems, and then we're like, this is uncomfortable. I don't like how this feels, so let me find somebody I can sell this problem to so they can go fix it for me. Meanwhile, the other person has been groomed through programming to think that if I save you from this, I'm a good person. I'm taking care of my family. I'm tending to my responsibilities. But meanwhile, they're sitting there with chains to every single rock of a problem that everybody else sold to them.
Hmm.
So you're just enslaving somebody else to the stuff that you're not willing to face, address, and do something about.
Yep.
And so
A
a
chain of
self-governed
obligations.
yeah. So self-governance truly means you have to be accountable, you have to be responsible, you have to self-reflect, you have to do the work.
Yep.
You can't just hand it off to somebody else. And that was what we built ERA for, was to be a reminder of you already have it all inside of you.
Yep.
I didn't get here from studying books and studying the legal system. I can decode everything it is because it turned to glass for me because I looked at myself more than I looked at the world.
Hmm.
And that's the key. And everybody can get there. There is no one size fits all for us to get remedy because of the fact that for that to be possible, you and I would have to have made the exact same, born at the same time, had the same thoughts, same feelings, same conclusions, same actions from the time of birth to the time of now for our paths of remedy to be exactly the same. And that's just not possible.
No,
That's not how reality works.
Yep.
no.
We said it in multiple videos how somebody could have 10 people can come to us with the exact same issue. Could be CPS, could just be a traffic ticket, whatever. And they're like, how do I fix this? Right. And we're like, well, let's say we decide to give them one solution. That one solution might work for one person, and then the other nine, it doesn't work for. And it's
Or the
like, well, what's the
opposite.
difference?
Yeah.
Why isn't it working for me? And the answer at the root of it is, well, you've made different choices, you have different thoughts, your energy might be different. Like it's
Your
not going to work
karmic
for
balance
everyone.
is different.
Even though this is a solution to this problem, it's not the solution. It's just a one of the
That's
options
right.
that has to be
Yeah.
I had a very similar thought about when people wanted templates of stuff because in the past I'd done letters and so I'd show the people on the videos the letters. Oh, can you do me a template? But you have to understand what is being written, but more importantly, you have to understand what's being written back because you will get a reply. And so, if there was a template that you just send one template of and that's it, happy days. But
Yeah.
that's not how life works. And so, and that I got to the point where I thought perhaps I would be doing more damage than good because a little bit of information is incredibly dangerous. And so if people
Yeah.
Yeah.
go in thinking, "Oh, this is going to do it," but then
Yeah.
they're not ready for what comes next, then
Yeah.
I also don't want to be part of that. So
Yeah.
I
That's
so I
where
kind of
we,
just have to do things as a kind of educational standoff. Have you
Yeah.
thought about this? Blah blah blah. But yeah, it's
yeah.
It's
and something that you said, Ryan, just before I finish earlier about asking. When we ask, we're doing it as king. Let's break the word asking as king. So when we demand from these authorities as king in our sovereignty because we are above them. So that's just another word that.
interesting. A little breakdown, a little
Mm.
Yeah.
etymology. As king, we're not
Yeah.
we're asking for their as king of me, please. I want to give you my authority. There was there was one thing I was gonna say was in regards to how this isn't a one remedy fits all type thing. Everyone's remedy is different. It kind of just shows you how when people are dealing with the legal system, the only remedy, right? And this is if you break down the root of how do you actually solve these cases and these problems you're dealing with the legal system, it's just the legal system. Everyone in the world has to deal with it. It's the one thing that at the end of the day, if you're ignorant to the things that are happening in this world,
You're
it scares
subject to
you.
it.
It's the
Yeah.
one
Mm.
thing that everyone is somewhat scared of. Nobody's looking forward to going to court. No one wants to get pulled over. It's all associated with this fear. So when you break down the fear, if you want to stop bringing in fear experienced realities, you have to start looking at, well, what kind of choices are you making? Because if that's associated with a so below frequency, it's all vibration at the end of the day. If you keep experiencing things like that, then the only thing that is causing it is you, because I'm not sure how big you are into quantum physics or just the creator, how your followers
I've
take it.
I've practiced the sacred secretion I've gone down that path. I'm fully aware that the world, the outer world, is a reflection of the inner world, and if you want to change the outer, you've got to work on the inner.
Yep.
Something that I do struggle with. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
We all do.
But yeah, I'm very open to all that.
So in that regards to those sciences like which have been proven, double slit experiment, placebo effect, right? The world is mentalism. It's all part of what we perceive in our own world. If that's what you keep experiencing is dealing with these fear-based systems in the legal system, then you have to change something inside of yourself. So like a lot of people want the instant remedy because people that are looking for the solutions are the ones going through the problem at that moment.
Mm.
They're dealing with something that they want to get out of right then and there. And this, what we're talking about, isn't always the solution that's going to make them get the exact thing that they want at that exact time.
Yeah.
But what we talk about is with this etheric ledger and the balancing of how do you get more good experiences. Well, if you want to get out of this bad experience, I can't stop you from maybe attaining some karmic debt that you did to get that experience. So you might have to go through with it to learn a lesson to make you stop doing it in the future. But if you start balancing that ledger by making completely aware choices, not with discernment, with knowing that everything's working out for you, taking leaps of faith, even if you don't know what's going to happen, you still are going to be like, I'm going to do the right thing because this is going to add to my balance, my ledger, my algorithm of adding more pluses instead of minuses. Eventually, something will work out. And the way I say it is sometimes that balance, that miracle, that thing that people are looking for could be maybe the court case gets dropped. Maybe you get your kids back. That could be a symptom of you making the right choices to add to your ledger. I
Mm.
don't know what it's going to be. Sometimes you might start making good choices because you heard this us talking about it, but you still don't get that result that you wanted. And it's not that it's like you did something wrong. It's just that again, you have a biofield, you've made choices in your past, and how you're supposed to get remedy is going to come out differently for every single person. So
It
Absolutely.
also comes back to the law, like the real
the
law.
real, yeah.
So when I was on that journey years ago and exploring myself and all of that, I started to study the atmosphere. I started to study cause and effect, like what was actually happening in me and around me based on the things that I was doing. So while everybody else was studying books, I was studying the literal molecules of life. And so that became my university. And it showed me that there was an underlying algorithm at play and at work at all times. And if I was in alignment with that law, then everything would work out for me in the way that I needed it to. But what I needed to also recognize and realize is that it calculates data at faster speeds than any of us could ever fathom. It knows exactly what we need, when we need it, why we need it, and where we need it. Without having, like in a split second, it can determine these things. And what we think we need, what we think is remedy, what we think is going to save us from ourselves and how we feel right now could be completely different than what it has determined because it knows better than we do what we need for us to have that wholeness and that fulfillment and
Mhm.
that peace and come back to center with our creator and creation because that's the ultimate goal. It's not for us to be out here stressed and in fight or flight all the time and all that. That's not the remedy. But we live in this
Spiritually, we should be
society.
like children,
Yes. And we live in a
joyful. And
always.
Having fun.
why do
Yes,
you
always
think people love
excited.
mushrooms and ecstasy and all that? Because it takes you
Yeah.
back. Because it takes you
They're
back
trying to
to
get
your
there.
true, your, yeah. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, they're trying to get there and they do it through an artificial source. What happens when you really start getting in alignment with the algorithm? You're there 24/7. And speaking of acid, I did that years ago. And the first time I did it, it came from the Grateful Dead band. And they gave me they gave me stamps. And I took 10 of these. Everybody was
Jeez.
around me going,
She's
"Is she
gonna
gonna
die.
die?" And I'm sitting here like if this is what you guys are experiencing like this, well, I do this every day, all day long. This is my norm.
I've never done acid. I think I did some weak acid tabs once, and all I kept doing is laughing. This is me as a security guard at night. I was just laughing my ass off, giving the wrong keys out to the lorry drivers, laughing about it. My security guard on the other end, who wasn't doing it but had done them before, was
Yeah.
just laughing at me at what was going on.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do think every politician should be made to do DMT before they
Yeah.
become a politician. I think the world would be a
Yeah.
much better place.
Yeah. Hey, if it's used for medicinal reasons of like for me when I did it the first time, we don't do it anymore. We're completely done. But I was when I was like waking up to
When I first met
everything.
him and was telling him all this stuff.
Yeah, she was telling me the breakdown of molecular law before we were calling it molecular law. It was like the universe and God, and we were just I was trying to piece it all together. And that chemical kind of just brought it like everything that was all scattered, it went whoop, and I was like, oh, I get
Just
it now.
clicked into
He
place.
looked at me and said, "Everything you've been
I was
saying
like,
now makes sense."
I was like, everything you said, I feel it. I can literally not just like understand it, like I feel it as like it resonates as truth. So it helped me come to an understanding or an overstanding of just how reality works to be able to
Mm.
even say the things we say now and like talk
Yeah.
about. I don't recommend people go out of their way just doing it just because it's Saturday and they're just bored.
No,
Like
not do
it's kind of like
anything.
ayahuasca, like why people go to South
Because
Africa or South
Yeah,
America.
if you like pooing yourself and throwing up,
Yeah,
yeah.
fill your boots.
See,
there you go.
Literally, fill
the
your boots.
thing. People tell me all the time, you had to have tripped on a lot of acid to get here. And the reality of my story is I didn't do none of that until after I got here. I had no
It was your pressure valve.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's possible to get there without anything, like it's each
But
person, but it comes back to discernment. That's with
yeah.
everything. And like you were saying with the documents and the templates, we put templates out too, but I'd say it in red letters in these things. I make people check boxes. They're taking their own authority. This
Mm.
is has nothing to do with me. Once you do it, you have to read this, feel it with your field, know what you need to add into it for your case, your essence, your presence, your authority. Not just take what I wrote that worked for me because that was for me. Now,
Mm.
I did do cases before I got to where we are now with AERA ARK, where I was like, I did my first case and it had to do with tax liabilities of 6 figures that were going to be placed on my mom for someone stealing her identity, and they stole his too, and they were buying trucks and getting insurance and tags getting sent to our house for vehicles that we had never seen before. And I went up against the FTC, the IRS, everybody in this first case I'd ever done. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was I knew molecular law. I knew cause and effect. I knew, that I needed to be in alignment. That's all I
Mm.
knew. And I knew that there was an underlying truth to everything. And that underlying truth was trying to bring us back home and refine us. And none of us could run away from that mirror. And that was what I just expressed into this document. But I didn't know what a notice was, had never wrote one. I didn't know what a trust was, had never wrote one. Found out later that my first notice was written like a trust. I didn't even
Coming from
know it.
coming from somebody who actually writes trust for
And
leads,
so,
she wrote a trust.
yeah, no clue,
Blimey.
right? But I watched the silence. I watched the silence happen. And the only response that I did get, I think, was from the FTC, and they said our hands are basically out of it. We have nothing that we're going to say or do involved in this matter. But I watched. That was the first time that I actually saw my authority move mountains for me. And that was, they were harassing my family. They had mafia style tactics. They had signed my mom's name on 12 different papers that she had never seen before. They filed false police reports, had 3 different police stations doing door knocks 3 times a day. Like
So
all of
full
this
on
stuff.
harassment then.
Yeah, it was
Off fraud.
very, yes,
They're on
stalker
fraud.
stalker harassment. Like they even the lawyer's office in New York saying this is going to get bad for you if you don't do something. And I'm just like, here, I responded with this notice and I watched everyone go quiet and stop everything in a split second. And I was like, what just happened? So I was like, okay, let me see if this works for other people because let's make sure this isn't just a fluke and let's make sure there's something real happening here. So I took on cases for free. And that's one thing is like, I will not let you pay me for this. I'm not going to be bribed like the lawyers on the other side. So I would take it on and I would send it in, and one after another, we watched it just things
Warrants
just
disappeared, lawsuits disappeared.
the entire courtroom cleared
Courtrooms, yeah,
out
they
in
shut down courtrooms.
24 hours, sending people with warrants home, telling them they got to get out of the building, and just from sending a piece of paper. I
So
didn't even show up.
how long have you been doing this?
I
That was
started
2022.
2022 was when I did those things.
22. And have you noticed in that space of time a much more, I don't know, a bigger awareness of what's going on? Are you getting more and more people coming to you, not necessarily just for help, but kind of in acknowledgement of what's going on?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
We're getting a lot more people that see what's going on, who are already implementing this in their own lives, that we don't have to teach them anything or remind them of anything. They're just like, yes, this is exactly what we've been
Mm.
doing. When we put out AERA ARK's platform, we thought we were going to get a lot more of the ones that had no clue what we were talking about, that would be constant back and forth of, okay, why are we even doing this? That was our first initial thought of how it was going to go, but it went the exact opposite. And and so if you just look at our comments section, you'll see a couple people here and there that don't get it and that make their statements that, that's life, but majority of people are, yes, this is 100%. I The people that come to us and say, or like the message we got the other day, the girl was like, I've been procrastinating, because sometimes procrastination is just, waiting for alignment. And she was like, I
I've
didn't
been
know
waiting
what
for a
I
long
was.
time.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't know what I was waiting for, but I knew I was waiting for something. And then I came across your page, and then everything that I needed to say for my notice just all fell into place, and I sent it off already.
Yeah.
And that is what we're looking for. It's beautiful when people can remember.
Synchronicities.
Yes.
See, I truly believe. I wouldn't say I'm overly religious. I was born again at the age of 12 when I went to visit my aunt who lived in Texas. So it was a proper gospel full on thing. But
Mhm.
I do think when they talk about the return of Christ, I think that will be as a consciousness upgrade.
Yep.
So it'll,
Amen.
yeah, so it will be Christ consciousness upgrade, not as a,
People,
a literal
a
bloke.
full it's more so of everyone just coming back into their true knowing of what they are. Because if you
Mm.
don't know what you are, you can't make the right choices. And that's essentially like what this big battle is even the people that are going against us in the comment section, they are more focused on the surface of prove to me that this works in court. Go get yourself pulled over and show me that this works. Not
Go get
realizing that,
arrested on purpose.
bro, it's like none of that even has to happen for us because we're not going to go put ourselves out of alignment into this low vibration
Mm.
to appease to your low vibration. That
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
we're not saying we're better than anybody. It's just that when you raise your
it makes no sense
frequency,
to do that.
when you raise your frequency and you hit this state of peace and just knowing everything's working out for you, it does not logically make sense to go and lower yourself to appease to somebody who has not hit that yet. And I could
Mm.
see how somebody would be like, well, don't you have to help the people? And it's like,
But
yeah,
they
but
have to
not do
rise
the
up,
work.
not go
We're not
down.
supposed to do the work for them. Even in Christ, what he was talking about was he's the example. He never wanted to be a leader and just do the work for people. He's like,
Mm.
just watch what I do it for yourself.
You can
It'll
do
work for
greater
you
things
too.
than
It's
me.
the same thing. It's just being the representation of you can do it yourself. That inspires the next person to do it for
Yeah.
themselves. It's like that quote that I've been saying from Coach Carter. The greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. The greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. People are terrified to release their brightness,
Mm.
their light, their such purity
See, I'm
that
a bit like that. And I'll tell you, seriously, I love music. I've always got a guitar. I go out as a Pink Floyd backing. I literally just have backing tracks, and I want to go busking, and I want to go busking all around, like my not the whole country, but all around the area. And it's just that initial getting up and doing it because I know I'm good enough without blowing my own trumpet, and people always say, "Oh, you're really good," but it's just that imposter syndrome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
absolutely
and
no.
I and so I admire anyone who can raise their vibration because I've done the
Yeah,
breathing exercises. I've tried to meditate and I just can't. So the
it's
breathing, like the Wim Hof breaths,
yeah,
I got
yeah.
into those quite well and a bit of cold therapy, but I'm nowhere near where you guys are.
It
Well,
just
here,
go
oh,
ahead. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
The meditation I wanted to touch on for a second, because we, for me, meditation, when you go and you sit down and you like, I gotta sit here and be in this silence and do all these things.
It's like being back
That
at school.
that's great and all, but like what are we escaping in that moment? What if we turned all of our actions every single day into a meditation? Like I meditate washing dishes, I meditate cleaning my house, I meditate doing my work. The things that raise my
And
vibration
keep you
are
present.
meditations to me instead of trying to go, exactly, that's your meditation right there.
All meditation is being in the moment.
But
Yeah.
we as a society
The
have
flow
gotten so
state.
stuck in everybody else's definitions of what things should be. Everybody else's walk should look like ours. Let's trespass each other and box each other into what this is. You know, you're not spiritual or in alignment or amplified unless you're doing these specific things. And it's like, no, you can only hear your field. You only know your walk. You only know your experiences. The best thing you can do to meditate and stay in alignment and walk with yourself and your creator is to listen to you, to trust you.
So like even bringing it back to the quote, like being that light, although it's scary, when you come to know the information, the molecular law, how everything works, when you put that energy out there, that's what you get back. Like it becomes logically ridiculous to not be that. The only thing you have is the fear, and that's the only thing holding you back. And the fear is what acronyms people use is false evidence appearing real. It's in your head where it's our expectations of what we think somebody might do if they don't like it. And we don't want to disappoint people. So we don't go and do it to save face and to save our energy of embarrassment that again, all fear that we don't know. It's all in the body language too. Like if you're confident, people will sense that. If you feel like you know what you're doing, and not in a cocky way too, like people,
It's
there's
a
a
bit like
difference
animals,
between
isn't it? A
confident and
dog
cocky.
can sense your fear.
Yeah, they can literally sense it. It's like you could have one person, two people in a store. One looks raggedy, low life, and is just hungry because he's homeless or something is just not really doing a really good job in his life, and he's suffering in a sense, and he's trying to go and steal something. Then you have one guy who just knows the algorithm, knows how to play the part and be a part overconfident. I don't want to say overconfident, but just knows like, hey, this is all Matrix. Both of them steal, but everyone's paying attention to the guy that does not know what he's doing. He's looking around, he's all suspicious. And the other guy that is just runs around like he owns the place gets away with it scot-free. No money
Which
back in
again, it all
pocket.
comes down to that thought mentality. Like fake. Well, I don't know if like you've got the fake it till you make it. So you have to
Yeah.
be that. I don't want to say
There,
You
person.
gotta feel
You
it
have to
first.
be that in that
Yeah.
zone.
you could be, it's like faking it till you make it comes with the realization of you live in the taking a future moment that you want to embody now and just making it present. And that it doesn't mean like go and buy things that you can't afford at the moment and then try to make up for paying for it to fake it till you make it like a
Just
lot of
imagine how it feels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
you don't even have to take any action, just
Yeah.
how you feel, what you're emitting from your field.
Yep, that's really all it comes down to. But you have to, there's a balance of being able to be in the future, to embody that feeling now, but also being realistic at the same time and don't go do dumb things that like that kind of hold you back from being in that
So
future.
being in that feeling of the future
Feeling-
and the present doing the work. It's like if you were trying to meet a goal or say you wanted to, your goal was to be a millionaire. Well, what would that millionaire you be doing every day? Would they be doing the things you're doing right now, or would they be doing these other things every day?
Yeah.
If they would be doing these other things, then for the little things to add up to be the big things, then we need to be doing those things now.
That's it. It's not, well, a millionaire would just have a Lamborghini and would have could
It just
buy
happened out
whatever
of
he wants
nowhere.
and then just go start acting like that thing when you don't have it. It's what are the habits that make somebody a millionaire?
Yeah.
It's the underlying things that you have to fix. So a millionaire probably writes his goals down.
The way you
Millionaire probably
strut.
gets up.
Yeah.
He or she wakes up and like works out, eats a good meal, reads a book, goes and walks in nature, has some peace, like things in a sense that keep you grounded.
And this
is what somebody that has maybe $1 million would do.
and let's take that to the legal system, because people need to realize that they can do these things with the legal system too. How does it feel to never even cross the path of a cop, never even see one? We get to experience that. How does it feel to never have to even step into a courtroom again? How does it feel to never ever get a notice from anybody anywhere at all ever again? Like,
because you make good choices.
Right. How do these things feel, and embody those feelings and then continue to do your walk? Like, of course, there's going to be things that come and they test you. They're going to test you to see if you really truly mean what you say and you feel.
They're going to test you to see are you gonna respond from an old pattern and choose a fear-based choice, or are you going to choose a faith-based choice? That's the ultimate goal. Something you could have something that tells you signs, oh, this isn't going to work, this is going to work, but where is that really stemming from? Is that fear or is that faith? So it's testing you to see what are you going to do right now? Go back to comfort and old patterns, or step into an uncomfort zone and just know, no, this is going to
A
work out. I
paradigm
program
shift.
my reality. It's
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah.
And
And
you
then
go.
and then watch it release you
Yeah.
and disappear.
It's about letting go of holding on to things that are out of your control. Like
Yeah.
the people say in scripture, like give it to God. Like just let go and give it to God. It's not about actually giving it to somebody else to take it for you.
It's
It's
about
literally
relinquishing the
Power it has over you.
yeah.
yep, clearing out the energy so that you stay at an equilibrium state to keep you in a place that keeps you making good, proper choices that keep you in alignment. Because if you're stuck in a scared fear mentality, emotion sometimes overrides logic and people make dumb choices. So you can't get
And the same thing for
emotional.
happy. It's like
Yeah,
we
even the
don't
same
make
thing.
choices unless we take time. We know that time is a very valuable tool and asset
Yep.
that our creator gave us. And instead of rushing time, we let time slow down and show us and reveal to us the truth about a situation. So I could be really happy about something and I'm still not going to make the choice right then because I want to let that happiness fade away and then get into my clarity and then go, okay, is this actually taking me closer to my goals, closer to my creator, closer to my wholeness, or is it taking me further away out of my excitement? Because this is where a lot of things go wrong in people's paths. And the same thing in the legal system. They're the reason that they want everything to be rushed, all notices, all summons, all everything is a rushed situation because fight or flight kicks in, clarity goes out the window. You no longer can make a proper choice. You're in defense mode. So therefore, every choice you can even think is coming from defense instead of authority.
Which is fear. Defense is
Mm-hmm.
fear.
Yeah,
Fight or
100%.
flight, cortisol, like
Yeah.
live or die. What am I doing? That's really what it is. Cortisol.
Yeah.
It's
And the legal system becomes the cheetah chasing you.
yeah.
And it's not even there. It's in our imagination. And that's another thing we're trying to get people to realize is a lot of things that they're thinking or they're feeling and they're reacting to in their life are literally just happening here. It's not even in their physical reality.
And they're not even your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
You can
okay, so
choose
that I
to
noticed.
you can choose to accept them and take them on, or you can that's not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Like
Just change like a TV channel.
I'll get messages saying, I got a letter from the IRS and I'm stressed out. I'm like, okay, well, go watch this video that I put out, show the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, where I break it down and show you that it's not even talking to you. And then reread it again with these new eyes and let your shoulders relax. And then you can come to a place where you could even start to defend yourself. Because I tell people all the time, I'm not going to a defense state until after you've shown me that you're even communicating to me.
Yeah.
When you can
What's
prove
that
that to
old
me.
what's that old saying? Real eyes realize real
Yeah, real
lies.
lives.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
There's a
that's every letter you get from any kind of authority,
Yeah.
government,
Once you start
police.
reading it as what it's actually saying, like I put something in our private group this morning or last night, and I was like, you guys read this. And the top of it says, from the office of the fiduciary. And I'm like, read it line by line and like, let's break this down and see what's going on here. And I'm like, what does the first line of this say? From the office of the fiduciary. Okay, so if the fiduciary, we pointed out in the last video, is a paper roll, so then you're saying from the office of the paper roll. That sounds way different in our mind's eye, in our nervous system.
Mm.
Everything changes the minute that we change the language from fiduciary, which is like something that we should be concerned about, to this is just a paper roll. And then you change plaintiff to and defend it to paper roll. So the plaintiff, the paper roll versus the paper roll. Okay, this has nothing to do with me. Like you change those words when you're reading it. Now everything you ever read, you start laughing about because you're like, really, you're really going to say all this? And you see, it's all templates.
Mm.
That everything they send out, it doesn't matter if it's coming from a lawyer's office, if it's coming from the government, especially the government. Everything from them is a template. And they just change, your little ledger name at the top with your all caps or whatever. They change that at the top. That's it. And all of their officers, agents, the paper rolls that they're animating are just being trained to, okay, with this issue and this person with this, you got to get notice CP 959 and then change their name right here.
Yeah.
And these people aren't questioning anything. They're just going to work, doing their
Following
job,
orders.
paying their, and that's the thing is like I've met a lot of people that are in the system who have great heart and soul, and they really truly think they're doing the right thing. We
Mm.
have a federal agent in our private group who has already switched his residency to a residency inside of our jurisdiction. Like he came to me. This is the way he came. He read my jurisdictional proclamation and the global molecular writ that talks about the different dimensions of the as above and so below jurisdictions and how they actually impact us on a molecular level in our lives. And he was like, I am here to attest to the validity of every word you wrote in those documents because I live it. I experience it. I'm done experiencing it.
Yep.
I want to do this. And he's not the only one. He told me that he talks about this with all of his friends that are all agents too. So it's not just that it's not us versus them, it's us versus us. And the quicker we realize that, the quicker the war between us versus them ends because the puppet masters are the ones that are hiring all these agents who aren't asking questions, who are getting all of this field weight inside of their fields, having these discomforts. Then you have the other side of us that are being feeling we're done wrong by these people when they're just processing a paper roll. They're not actually coming at you. They're processing what they're supposed to do. So now we're warring with each other while they're all sitting back laughing at all of our ignorance instead of us going, we're all one. We're all one here on both sides of this coin. And this it doesn't matter if I'm on the public side or the private side, whatever you want to call it, both sides of it. For us to animate what they've written is for all of us, including the agents, to commit fraud, no matter what side.
I mean,
So,
for me, there's either private or non-private.
yeah.
I try. I don't even try and use the word public these days, but
Well, see,
it's difficult.
I used to do all of that. Now I define all of my words because I was like, I'm not going to let them control my mouth. I'll use the same word you use and I'll just write out the meaning on the document and let you know what I mean so you can't misinterpret me and then presume that I'm speaking your language. And then, so now,
That was literally there's a movie called Aladdin and the
yeah,
newer one that came out like 6 years ago with Will Smith. And
I
it's
took the
about the three
clip.
wishes, three wishes, wish for whatever you want. But in the cartoon, they don't really go into this deep into this specific aspect. But in the one, he's like, "Can you make me a prince?" And he pauses. Will Smith pauses, and he's like, "There's a lot of gray area, and make me a prince. I can just, poof, make you a prince." And there's a guy on a cliff who's a prince. He's like, "Yeah, you'll be snuggled up with that dude for the rest of your life because you weren't specific." He's like,
Mm.
"The deal is in the detail. The more clarity essentially you give, the less assumption one can make in what you mean. And the whole premise of this legal system is based on
Assumption is
assumption.
presumption.
If you don't word it right, they are going to assume this is what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you respond into this
And you,
letter, they're going to assume you are animating the paper roll. It's all assumption, everything.
but
See,
Assumption.
it's human based.
I know someone who has been fighting. I don't know what the actual thing that he's been fighting, but the pen is mightier than the sword. He's
Yes.
gone from magistrates court right up to Supreme Court, and he's never stepped inside of a court because a lot of people don't even realize that the
You don't have
paperwork
to.
is the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the
Yes.
paperwork's the court. Everything else is just theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just
But the
playing a
court
game. You're
is
playing your
it's their
role.
fantasy land.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
it
have to
is.
show up. You don't have to participate. You don't have to put yourself in their hands.
And
Yeah.
that's what the guy who helps me. That's one of the things that he often says is, if like I've been trying to write a script and I send it to him to show. Oh no, you're dragging them back into theatre land.
Yeah.
Get them out of theatre. Yeah. So
Get them
yeah,
out of
it's a lot to take in though. um, it is a lot to take in. I would still consider myself to be down here compared to a lot of other people, but
it's
it's
one step at a
fascinating.
time. It's like once you become aware of it, it's scary at first, but then you start accumulating the knowledge and the awareness, and eventually opportunities arise for you to assert that
To
newfound awareness.
exercise it, to put in the reps, and the
Yeah.
reps turn into the
Eventually,
conviction and the confidence.
yeah. It's that saying that you're getting tired, getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like eventually there's going to be a point in anyone's life where they're just, all right, I'm done. Like it's time to actually do this. And I don't know what that is for everybody, but there will be a point where we know these things to be true, and eventually it's going to just come into your reality and make sure that you know that this is how you're going to live, and you got to stand up for that. So it's like
Absolutely.
a blessing and a curse. The blessing is you know it. The curse is now you have to assert it in a
Yeah.
world that is scared of doing
And that's the thing is
that.
like those are the comments we get about how does this work in court? And I'm like, I don't go to court. I handle it on the paper record where the battle is. You think that they're taught that they're concerned about your mouth? The mouth isn't a record. The clerk can decide not to record your mouth. Like these are things that you have to set the record. You have to build the record around yourself. That's your firewall. That's what stops these claims, these officers, all these fears and concerns that everybody has. Because I get the most they have the guns, they have the military, they're gonna lock me in a cage, and I'm like, guys, these are thoughts that you can only have if you haven't done anything yet. If you have
Mm.
not put any record on the table whatsoever to draw a line between the fiction that they're presuming that you're going to animate and who you truly are, then of course they can go and make a claim and take action on the claim. But once you put that there, it becomes silence. Your life becomes peaceful. They don't even want to talk to you anymore. They don't want that because they know that their biggest target market, they're business people. They have a target market. That target market are the ones that are going to be fearful enough to say nothing, that
Yeah.
are fearful enough to say, if I put this on the record, they might come get my kids. If I put this on the record and like stand up to them whatsoever, they're going to
Mm.
come abuse me. The opposite happens when you start doing this. And so these fears are what feed this system to keep going. Their
Mhm.
marketing. That's why I tell everybody, you get a letter in the mail, it's a flyer. It's marketing material.
Yes.
Think of a business.
Everything to do with legal is commerce
Yeah, they want
and
you to step
contract.
into the role and animate the role. How do they like you're the traffic source, you are the consumer. They
I,
need you to do that. So how are they going to do that? Well, let's fearmonger you into thinking you have to.
yeah.
That's their marketing
it's
tactic.
it's a
Mhm.
it's business. Like if any you look at any business right now, they're like if you go to like big products like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever, like their goal is what colors make people want to buy more, what commercials are short enough to keep their attention span. They're all doing it to
It's all the
manipulate the person into wanting to
psychology.
buy, right? It's a
Yes.
psychological thing. So
Mm.
if
It's
the
all
legal
pain
system,
points.
if the legal system is commerce, and their business is making money, then
Mhm.
they need to psychologically do something that's going to make them money. And that's
Mm.
fear. They feed off of fear.
I bring you, ladies and gentlemen, COVID.
There you go.
Yeah.
This big
The
thought
biggest
virus everybody
marketing
believes.
thing ever in the world.
Yeah.
There. Listen, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
wrap it up because my bed is calling me. But I would love to
Yeah.
know, have you got any long-term plans? Where do you see yourselves being in the next 5 years?
Well, our plan that he always talks about is a 30-year plan, and
That I said
it's
6 years ago,
yeah,
so
so
it's
it's about 24
24.
years now, but we're planning on not just stopping at, showing people their authority, we're being a reminder to mankind that, they are bigger than what they think they are, and the things that are controlling them are smaller than what they think they are. But building our software, our ecosystem, truly decentralizing our ability to manage our real estate, which is our biofield and everything that manifests through it, bringing currency back to what it's supposed to be. I've already wrote a software for that. It won't fit in this technology. I have to wait on the alignment of the person who's going to bring the technology to the table to put it into. Giving there's just so much of this infrastructure taking all of this chaos that has been breeding in the world from this mindlessness and that mankind has been in, and then bringing all the simplicity into this one space, not needing 20 million different things to get one thing done, having it all in one space,
It's
and that be where we're all able to do our commerce, but not in a what is it? What do they call it? That's not, I can't think of it right now. I had it, but
what
I can't think of it. But yeah, we have a lot of things that we're wanting to bring to the table for that. I mean, there's stuff that I can't even get into because there's so many different layers to what we're unraveling here. We're just on phase one,
It's
which is let's find the people who remember that they're part of this and they know that they are trying to restore things, but that we have to build our solutions. We can't just sit and complain at the system about not being the solution and trying to make the system change. It works perfectly as it is, how it was designed to work. So let's stop putting our focus over there and let's focus on what can we all do together to bring forth these solutions and be that solution for ourselves and not need that infrastructure anymore.
it's about giving humanity a second option because right now everyone goes into this legal system thinking they have to partake when it's about waking them up to the fact that they don't. And
We have
what's the
options.
other option? What's another template that we could, start and then change and morph into the ways that actually benefit humanity? And that's what we're trying to do here is give somebody a second option, but also
Bring it back to origin. Bring
origin.
what's already in them out.
Yep. And on top of that is working not in a partnership, but more so in a way where we work with the legal system so that they don't trespass us and we don't trespass them.
We're
And
not
there's
here to
two options
dishonor.
because their system, although it operates off of fear, it's a form of function, as she says, as for people who are needing that right now. We can't rip the tablecloth or the floor out
That's
from
a
other
drug
people.
for some people.
They're addicted to it. And if you
Yeah.
take somebody off a drug psychologically, it can mess them up and people could die. Like people could literally get hurt from ripping their entire world off of them because they don't know what to do. It breaks people. So you have to kind of find an intermediary place that's going to be an even ground to have people help transition and recalibrate themselves into a newer frequency. So it's about realizing that that legal system serves a purpose for the people that need that as a basis in life because it's just all over the world. We can't get rid of it tomorrow. And they are going to keep doing what they're doing, but then them realizing that we also exist
And we're
that
gonna do
we're
what
going to
we're
do what we're
gonna
going to do.
do.
We're not, ours isn't about demeanoring them or forcing people to join us. It's like, bro, you can stick with this legal system, partake in the conveniences that it has, and live your life doing what they have and
Yeah.
animating that paper mimic. That's completely fine if you do that. But
I've,
here, this is more accountability. This is more discipline. This is you taking your authority back, meaning some of those things that they have that they do for you aren't necessarily going to be over here.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to figure it out for
Yeah.
yourself. But by that time happens, we'll have newer systems built,
Yes.
newer structures put together, newer technology to
With
make that transition a little bit more
with
logical.
all of it focused around retaining self-authority.
Yep.
yeah, that's
Authority.
perfect. Well, listen, thank you very much, both of you. It's been lovely speaking with you, Ryan and Brandy. I hope everyone watching this has really enjoyed it. I have. I'll tell you what I it's also quite good is that when you start doing this, it's quite a lonely road. I found it quite lonely.
Yeah.
But the more I've stuck at it, I have discovered better communities. And so I guess my message to everyone who's watching this, if you're at the starting step of this, is there are people out there who are going to help you, who can help you. You don't have to do it alone. And yeah, I will leave the links to your website and your Facebook group and everything in the video description of this so people can just click on and find you. Is there any closing remarks you'd like to give?
Take leaps of faith and know that you are not going to know certain variables are going to pop into your life. But if you take leaps of faith, the things that you're not accounting for, the miracles, the coincidences, the luck starts flowing into your life.
And my closing statement is everything, there is not a path that you will ever be sent down through the calling in your soul to travel that has not already been made victorious for you. So step into it with faith and knowing that it's already done.
That's cool. I like that. And I take that personally because that's advice I need to hear. I hope everyone has enjoyed this. And until next time, look after yourselves. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.